Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to give you guys a quick update on the situation near Bakhmut and some of the events around it. Over the past 2 weeks, the only real progress that Russia has made is inside of the city itself and not on the flanks. It appears that they've taken over some of the central areas inside of the city, while Ukraine prepares the western third of the city for fighting. West of the rail line is where Ukraine has set up their next defense line and is planning to hold stuff. It seems like they're going to try to hold them in the center of the city to make this line more fortified. The battles inside of Bakhmut have just become brutal recently. I think at this point the city is held for 245 days from when Russia started its initial campaign on it, and I think that's incredible. Ukraine still can retreat from this area. A road for retreat is available. A lot of snow came down recently, I think the most in the decade, which prevented any sort of countermeasures from happening for at least a week or two. So we're going to see what's going to have to happen, if there will be a counterattack or if the weather conditions prevented that. There was a picture of Wagner forces inside of the administrative building inside of Bakhmut in the center, which is kind of verifying the gains that they've made around the areas. I think what most people don't understand about Bakhmut is that it really made way more sense to Russia back in August than it does now. I've said this a couple times before, but let me illustrate it really quick. The black is the current front line, and the orange was the front line back at the end of August. The only thing that really changed was a little bit of progress around Bakhmut and, this entire front up here. Russia's main aim of the war right now is to take over Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, these two cities right here. Russia's main goal of the war is to take over the entire Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts, and that involves taking the two key cities of the Donetsk oblast, Sloviansk and Kramatorsk. So they wanted to take them by flanking them, so they'd have to do less actual fighting. Because they controlled Liman and Izium, their goal was to push to Barvinkove, do a river crossing south of Liman, and push through Bakhmut to collapse the pocket by Siversk up here, and then use the areas that they had to attack Sloviansk and Kramatorsk from every side. But because Bakhmut was able to hold defense for a month and a half, that allowed Ukraine to pull off the Kharkiv counterattack, which involved going through Balaklia up to Shevchenkove and into Kupiansk, and that basically eliminated this entire orange sector of the front. Russia withdrew to the Oskil and Seversky Donetsk rivers, and then Ukraine won a complete strategic victory by Liman. This pushed the line back to what we have today, and there's an interesting parallel with Bakhmut that you can draw to Sloviansk and Kramatorsk. These two cities are about twice the size of Bakhmut themselves, and we saw how when Russia used to control the orange line, they completely failed at even taking the eastern outskirts head on. Russia was never able to take over Opitne or Ivanhrad, and because Ukrainians had positions up by Soledar covered, Russia threw a ton of men into taking these intersections outside of Bakhmut and pushing into the eastern outskirts to get a foothold, but every time Ukraine would just counterattack from the south by Ivanhrad or north from Soledar, which led Russia without progress for months. This is why Russia started focusing on the flanks more, with the breakthrough in Andriivka by November, and then up north when Wagner was able to take Yakovlivka, and then when the regular Russian army and the Wagner mercenaries switched places, and then Wagner did a massive attack on Soledar. That was the main thing that allowed this breakthrough to happen. And we're going to see a similar thing, because Russia's goal right now is to push up to this Sloviansk-Kramatorsk line. So their obstacles are going to be Chasiv Yar. This topographic map is god-awful. They need to make a better one, because there's colors as soon as you're out here, but then the colors go away. But you can see that there's an there's an elevation point along this red line. You can it's just trust me on this one. I'm opening Google Earth just because it's making me mad. Please don't just go straight to my address. I'm in the middle of Pennsylvania. I don't think I've used Google Earth in like a year. Okay, into Ukraine. This is what reporting from Ukraine uses. All right, this is what the software that I recognize this. Ooh, I'm feeling lucky. What does this button do? Why am I going to San Diego? Okay, hang on. I need to. I'm losing focus. How to use a topographic map. I don't have voice typing on. No, I'm not downloading shit. Just let me use color. No, what? I didn't click. Oh my god. What is this? What is going on? Oh, here we go. This looks right. Okay, thank god. Why am I in the UAE? Okay, yeah, here. Yeah, here, you see what I mean? See, you should have just trusted me from the beginning. See the magic of technology these days? Alright, I'm having tech problems today, if you couldn't tell. Come on, balls50.png. There we go. So basically, right now, Russia is fighting for these heights right here in this area, up by Oryovo-Vasilivka. Chasiv Yar is on the heights as well, and the only real vector of attack that they'll have on it is from the south through Klishchivka. As long as this hill, this line of hills is protected, Russia shouldn't be able to access the Sloviansk-Kramatorsk line. One of the major problems Russia was facing was that they had to attack upwards into where the eastern outskirts outskirts were, but Ukraine was still able to hold good defense in the lowlands by Alpatne as well. There's also the Donetsk Canal that runs through this area, about where I'm drawing this arrow. This will be a pretty big natural barrier for Russia going through this place. And then finally, Russia only has one vector of attack into Sloviansk and Kramatorsk from this side. At best, they're going to fill up this whole space right here, and even then, that's still one vector of attack. It leaves them, if they weren't able to take Bakhmut from one side, it's going to be the exact same over here. It leaves them vulnerable to flank attacks from Siversk and Mykolaiv, and from areas in the south as well. And with Russia's current combat state, I don't see them being able to launch an offensive south from Vuhledar through the entire area, or north from Kharkiv again. But we're just gonna have to see what Ukraine is doing inside of Bakhmut, because all of that is months away. It felt nice making videos again. I'm sorry I keep abandoning you guys. Now I gotta go help my friend put a subwoofer in a 1981 Buick. There's something wrong with him.